must rise up. The armed forces are not neutral. They collude. They collude. They collude with the armed bandits. They kill people, kill Nigerians. They facilitate their movements. They cover them. If you are depending on the armed forces to stop the killings, you will all die one by one. Every one of us must rise up. The armed forces are not neutral. They collude. They collude. They collude with the armed bandits. They kill people, kill Nigerians. They facilitate their movements. They cover them. If you are depending on the armed forces to stop the killings, you will all die one by one. Every one of us must rise up. The armed forces are not neutral. They collude. They collude. They collude with the armed bandits. They kill people, kill Nigerians. They facilitate their movements. They cover them. If you are depending on the armed forces to stop the killings, you will all die one by one. Every one of us must rise up. The armed forces are not neutral. They collude. They collude. They collude with the armed bandits. They kill people, kill Nigerians. They facilitate their movements. They cover them. If you are depending on the armed forces to stop the killings, you will all die one by one. Every one of us must rise up. The armed forces are not neutral. They collude. They collude. They collude with the armed bandits. They kill people, kill Nigerians. They facilitate their movements. They cover them. If you are depending on the armed forces to stop the killings, you will all die one by one. Every one of us must rise up. The armed forces are not neutral. They collude. They collude. They collude with the armed bandits. They kill people, kill Nigerians. They facilitate their movements. They cover them. If you are depending on the armed forces to stop the killings, you will all die one by one. Every one of us must rise up. The armed forces are not neutral. They collude. They collude with the armed bandits. They kill people, kill Nigerians. They facilitate their movements. They cover them. If you are depending on the armed forces to stop the killings, you will all die one by one. Every one of us must rise up. The armed forces are not neutral. They collude. They collude. They collude with the armed bandits. They kill people, kill Nigerians. They facilitate their movements. They cover them. If you are depending on the armed forces to stop the killings, you will all die one by one.
And the violence that seems to have erupted in the southeast?
Well, what we are seeing in the southeast is synchronized violence, synchronized by certain people, definitely not by Igbos.
Okay.
Those people who are doing that are foreigners. If you see a group of Igbo people moving, from their physiognomy, you will know. Now, one of the things that people did in the southeast was to get close to them, speak Igbo to them, and without exception, they responded in broken English. And you saw the other man speaking on Sunday, being displayed by the police as the only surviving person among those who attended to burn the prisons again. The man was given an Igbo name. And when he spoke, he had a northern accent. But back to your question about what is really happening. In the past 2 years or more, the clamor for a president of Nigeria coming from the southeast has been on. And if you notice, up to the past 3 months, there was no problem in the southeast, 4 months. What happened? Suddenly, if you read some papers published in Abuja, you see Igbos are killing Northerners. You call those in the south, they say, what are you talking about? It has nothing to do with any Igbo man or any Northerner. What we are witnessing is a programmed action by some people to destabilize the southeast, indeed the whole of Igbo land, with a message: Igbo land is unstable. If you're unstable, how then can you produce a president? That is the real key in issue. The herdsmen have always been there. But if you notice, for the past 3 or 4 months, issue of the herdsmen had died down. Except in Ebonyi State, where up to last Sunday, the herdsmen were still killing people.
Mm. But we cannot deny the fact that these destruction and arson attacks are taking place in the southeast region on security formations, on electoral body, INEC offices, and of course, killing of the security officials themselves. So the question is, how does this make a call or a point for, or an argument for inclusion? If you say marginalization and inequity has been, the reason for this clamor, some will say for the clamor of cessation, how do these arson attacks and killings and destruction make a point for inclusion? And who stands to benefit from these attacks? Why have they not gone? Why do they continue to recur, in your own opinion?
First correction is this: who is doing the destruction?
Exactly.
Who is attacking police formations? Who is attacking the INEC? If you notice the targets: election conducting body, security body. In the first place, Igbos are not destroyers. Igbos are builders. Since the end of the war, the federal government has not been building police stations in the Igbo land. Every structure you see there, apart from the old prisons in Owerri, which was built in the 1950s, is the result of the contribution of people. I'll give you an example. I come from a Himembano local government of Imo State. Recently, the police divisional quarters was destroyed, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago. What most people don't know is that building was built by the community, also community, and donated to the police last December. So why will the people who built turn around to destroy? For what purpose? The average Igbo man knows that those who are doing the destroying are not Igbos. The special squad of security men sent by federal government are also not Igbos. Okay. So it's a case of the policemen will come, shoot into the air, stray bullet to land on people. And then the unknown gunmen will move around in brand new Hilux trucks. Shoot into the air, with faces covered. Once in a while, people will get close and do like this, and then they take a closer look at them.
So if you say the Igbos are not destroying, who then is carrying out this attack?
The unknown gunmen. It is not by accident that they call them unknown gunmen. That's why I said, if you go to Alaba today, there's an Igbo section. If you see there, from the physiognomy, you say these are Igbos. If you turn towards the right, you see Alaba Nago. That's where the Hausa traders are. You also see their physiognomy. If I go to Jankara Market here in Lagos, you don't need to be told these are Yorubas. So if the unknown gunmen cover their faces, once in a while, people go, they speak Igbo to them, sing in Igbo, they won't even respond.
This is quite a strong...
It is a revelation.
Yeah.
But the biggest problem they have now in Igbo land is that if they see somebody of my age, they will go after me. Police will arrest me and call me a financier. If they see my son, they will grab him and say he's an activist. Send him to the police station, military barracks, or anywhere. You have to run around to get him out. And you know what it means to Nigeria for someone to run around. I don't mean real race. You have to do something. Otherwise, you see him on TV the next day confessing to things he did not do. Because when they torture you, you have no option. And remember, Archbishop Obinna, the Archbishop of Owerri Catholic Diocese, last Sunday came out almost weeping that the morgue where they keep dead bodies, that place is overflowing, 35 unidentified bodies. The Nigerian Bar Association came out and said, we have set up a unit to liaise with the police commission. That's how they have been able to rescue some people, including the man who came from Bayelsa, who was going to buy a casket for his father-in-law's burial. The one was grabbed and displayed on TV as the high-ranking chief.
Permit me to just interject, because you're making strong assertions, and we wonder why this hasn't come to light in a more public forum. But let me just ask, what we do know, though, is that there was this, I'm glad you said you're from Imo State. Yes. There was a sit-at-home order, and it would seem that largely it was obeyed. So that would then beg the question, who is in charge? You know, we want to bring up the issue of IPOB because they've made certain assertions. And then we want to ask the question as well regarding Imo State. It's hard to put this. There have been assertions by people in Imo State that since the current governor came into being, that Imo State hasn't known peace. So suggesting that his coming in as governor has also triggered some of these violent attacks. What's your take on that?
Let me take it one by one. Issue of sit at home. To observe a day for our departed brothers, those who died during the war, has been on since 1970. So it depends on the government of the day to make it a focal point.
No, I'm talking about how it was enforced. There was intimidation behind it.
No, there was no intimidation. Listen, what you saw was what we call a charade. Some people will wear black and red and be moving around. You think the Igbos are not Igbos. That's the point I was making. The unknown gunmen are not Igbos. As for Day of Mourning, it's observed every year. You have seen the one of 30. September 9, some people will also observe their own. They don't make noise about it. They just call their own Yom Kippur. We call our own mourning our dead. 2, IPOB is what I call a phenomenon that has risen because of injustice, because of lack of fair playing ground, because of arrant discrimination. Now, nature abhors vacuum. So whenever there is this kind of lack of inclusiveness, grumbling will come in. All it takes is somebody to harvest that they're grumbling and say, this man is doing something bad. Let's see what I can do. Believe me, the average person will join. On the issue of the governor, I better leave it at that. Is the governor in charge of any security force there? No. If he says something negative, they'll go against him. You know where he lives in Owerri? It's called the Fortress. On one side is Army Chief's house, Police Chief, DSS, Air Force. All of them live in a circle. And the police headquarters and the prisons that were just burned down, you just opposite them.
Okay.
CCTV showed all those who do the attacking. Do you know that till today, none of these groups I mentioned ever produced that CCTV?
And I mean, a lot of people watching will be wondering where are the perpetrators. But in the absence of state police, we've seen vigilantes across the country, states having to form their own vigilantes, and as well as regional security. Same as the Southeast with Ebube Agu. They don't seem to be making much headway. What have the governors got wrong when it comes to security of their states and, of course, the region, Southeast in particular now?
Well, I don't want to call it intimidation from Abuja. I also don't want to call it timidity of the governors. No. Let me say it's a case of three political parties having governors in the Southeast. Three political, PDP has two. That's Enugu and Abia. Enugu has always had a Bibago. They have a name for their own and they have bosses for them. Abia State, yes, its own is not as elaborate as that of Enugu. Imo State also passed a law a long time ago outlawing open grazing. And they also passed a law establishing a Bibago. But then the governor said he has sent some people to train the military barracks in Anambra State so that when they come, they form the nucleus. Now, the man in Anambra also has his own. His own method is different because there are three parties. They have different methods. Abga said, okay, if you kill a cow, you pay. If you kill a human being, you pay. And they're enforcing it. So when you're talking of a Bibago to them, they may say we have something different. The man in Igbo, you know, he has just joined APC. And he's also the chairman, so he's been drawn on one side. Unfortunately, his state is the worst hit by the killer herdsmen. Up till this Sunday, we're still killing. Now, the governors are also, well, I think they're handicapped. But remember this, there are killings all over the country, in all the zones. And in terms of number, in terms of statistics, Kaduna State has had more people killed or kidnapped than the whole of Southeast and South put together. Yeah, the IG of police, when he came, he said, I'm concentrating on Southeast and South. In other words, they know what they're doing. So those special squads sent to Imo State because of this crisis, are they putting anything together? Their job is to go and block the road. I saw them. I was there Saturday before last. For me to pass, all the roads were blocked in the city. For me to go to the airport, I had to call one man. When I noticed his less unfriendly appearance, I said, I just joked. He said he was an Ishan man. I said, Ishan Wayo. He laughed. He said, Ishan. I said, okay, Oba Tokwe. He said, he relaxed. He said, Oga, pass. That's how I was able to go to the airport. The next day, Sunday, Golak was killed. The insecurity there is there, but it's artificial.
You seem to be blaming, sorry, you seem to be blaming everyone else, particularly the federal government, except for those in the region.
Because we are not destroyers. The average Igbo man is a builder. That Owerri airport was built, started by this Ambaku, with people contributing 1 naira. Everything you have in Imo State was built by the people, not by the government.
Okay, let me just bring this in.
The governor of the state himself obeys the sit-at-home on Monday, and then the civil servants that work in government house obey the sit-at-home, and government shut down on Mondays. It means the real governor of Southeast is Simon Ekpa, ruling the Southeast from Finland.
Every one of us must rise up. The armed forces are not neutral. They collude. They collude. They collude with the armed bandits. Nigerian people kill Nigerians. They facilitate their movements. They cover them. If you are depending on the armed forces to stop the killings, you will all die one by one. Every one of us must rise up. The armed forces are not neutral. They collude. They collude. They collude with the armed bandits. They kill people kill Nigerians. They facilitate their movements. They cover them. If you are depending on the armed forces to stop the killings, you will all die one by one. Every one of us must rise up. The armed forces are not neutral. They collude. They collude. They collude with the armed bandits. They kill people, kill Nigerians. They facilitate their movements. They cover them. If you are depending on the armed forces to stop the killings, you will all die one by one. Every one of us must rise up. The armed forces are not neutral. They collude. They collude. They collude with the armed bandits. They kill people, kill Nigerians. They facilitate their movements. They cover them. If you are depending on the armed forces to stop the killings, you will all die one by one. Every one of us must rise up. The armed forces are not neutral. They collude. They collude. They collude with the armed bandits. They kill people, kill Nigerians. They facilitate their movements. They cover them. If you are depending on the armed forces to stop the killings, you will all die one by one.
All hail Biafra, land of the rising sun.
2024. There has never been a time that the Biafran people have been prison officials and other. Sean has taken me to the BRGI website. And the God of Biafra will continue to give you the enablement to pursue the cause of Biafra until we are free. He said. Greetings to all Biafrans and lovers of freedom, and everyone that is reaching out to this very program, those that will watch later, and those that will come across it in the nearest future. We bring you warm greetings from the Biafra Republic government in exile and de facto in the homeland. And today, we have come to continue the awareness on the Biafran independence. The Biafran independence is a child born of necessity. Looking at the genocide and the massacre and the marginalization that has existed for years, it is from all this that you can give us a pass mark that Biafra deserves to be independent. The massacre of Christians has spiraled in Nigeria for years. And we want to say a very big thank you to the US lawmakers, most in particular, Senator Ted Cruz. All the meetings and engagements of BRGI with Senator Ted Cruz has come to a good result. It is yielding good fruit. The picture you see on the screen is not a Photoshop, it's real. And when you go to the BRGI website, you will see this press release that BRGI Lord Senator Ted Cruz, legislation is 2747 against Nigerian government and their officials, Act 2025. We will peruse through this publication before go to the order of the day. So when you go to BRGI website, then you go to the news. Let us go there so that we read our news from there and everybody will see. This is BRGI website. For you to get BRGI website, you may just see it anywhere. You can see it on my profile. Let me take you to my screen on Twitter. You can see it here on my profile. When you click here on my profile, it takes you, this is my Twitter. When you click here, it takes you to the BRGI website. So I click, the hyperligation has taken me to the BRGI website. So I'm now going to where that link was open now. This is where the link was open. And then you come to news. Before you come to news, let me refresh your memory on the diplomatic engagement. Here you can see the people of Chukwuokike-Abịama. The people of Chukwuokike-Abịama that gathered in the US Congress. These are the children of Chukwuokike-Abịama. They gathered in the US Congress to make something remarkable, something historic on the 18th of September 2025. It is from this place, it is from here that you are seeing all the news that is coming against Nigeria today. It is from here, it is from this historic event and every other diplomatic engagement that this BRGI APM here has been ongoing with the BRGI lobbies and attorney representation. It is from here that you see Nigeria being spoken about on the international media. Some of you said we were only taking photo. But you see, the good photo and the back that this APM has been carrying has actually yielded good fruit. So we challenge other people that can carry back. They should also go and carry back and also carry anybody along and snap photo and do whatever. So if you come to this website, you can even screenshot all these photos like this, like a catalog. You can screenshot it like a catalog, and then you can go and share it anywhere you want to share. This is the diplomatic engagement and work of BRGI. Here is Senator Ted Cruz with our APM. And there are several other photos that have not been published here of his meeting with him and the US Congress men and women. So you can as well take a screenshot as the way it is on the screen now. If you so love the display, you can take a screenshot. So this is where the game is happening. And when you come to news, here is the news of the day. We are going to read this news. We read the news. After reading the news, then we go down to what actually brought us here. BRGI Lord Senator Ted Cruz, legislation S2747 against Nigerian government and officials, Act 2024. And this is what Senator Ted Cruz wrote. Nigerian Christians are being targeted and executed for their faith by Islamist terrorist groups and are being forced to submit to Sharia law and blasphemy laws across Nigeria. It is long past time to impose real costs on the Nigerian officials who facilitate these activities. And my Nigeria Religious Freedom Accountability Act uses new and existing tools to do exactly that. I urge my colleagues to advance this critical legislation expeditiously. So this photo you see here is the BRGI APM to the left, then Senator Ted Cruz to the right, after a meeting held in Washington, D.C. Then a cross-section of the U.S. Congressional Briefing on Biafra held on 18 September 2025. If you were in this place, that means you are blessed. So the press briefing goes thus. Acting Prime Minister Okechukwu Nkere is proud to announce BRGI's backing of Senator Ted Cruz legislation S.2747 Nigeria Religious Freedom Accountability Act of 2025. The legislation not only redesignates Nigeria as a country of particular concern, but it envisions a sophisticated sanction scheme of Nigerian federal officials, state governors, judges, magistrates, prison officials, and other judicial or law enforcement authorities. It is here that BRGIA has provided the U.S. government all that is needed to know about the complicity of the Igbo terrorist politicians that have aided and abetted the massacre of Biafrans, the kidnapping of Biafrans, the kidnapping of Nnamdi Kanu, the placing of bounty on the head of Nnamdi Kanu and Mazi Simon Ekpa, the forceful disappearance of Biafrans in Biafra land, and the continuous detention of Nnamdi Kanu till today. That is why our topic says Igbo politicians jails Nnamdi Kanu for jihad, while Boko Haram and Fulani terrorists, governors and ministers and senators, they protect the Boko Haram terrorists. So BRGI does well by making sure every evidences are provided to the U.S. government, so that all the ministers and senators and governors in Biafra land that have worked so hard to make sure that Biafrans are massacred because of Biafra independence, they will all pay an answer to it. The Accountability Act of U.S. lawmakers is somewhat like the lawsuit that the BRGIA has put up against the saboteurs of Biafra independence in this very dispensation of ours. And we are not looking back. It is called law, and it must be implemented. So it is not business as usual. It is a new dawn. And in this very new dawn, we have different patterns and different modalities that things are done. So you are lucky to be amongst this very generation, because what we have not done in several years, we have done it now in this very year. We have done it in 2022, we have done it in 2023, we have done it in 2024, and we have done it in 2025 as we are about to enter 2026. Since 1960 to 2024, there has never been a time that the Biafran people have been so well organized that they have a government and they have a voice to penetrate the U.S. Congress House. Not just to have a voice to penetrate the U.S. Congress House, but for Biafran people to now have a diplomatic seat. They had the opportunity to enter inside the White House. to go and sit down there and have discussion and create awareness about Biafra. That is something that some of you don't understand. That is what is giving birth to this very thing that you see here now. This very post, this very photo that was taken here, some of you take it to be a joke. Today, this very photo that you all made caricature of, this very congressional briefing that you all made caricature of, today, this congressional briefing is speaking volume. The results are numerous. The results have gone haywire, and everybody are running chiki-chaka, chiki-chaka, chiki-chaka. Because you do not understand what it means to be on top of diplomacy. Today, you are beginning to understand. So, the governors, the ministers, tell Enyinnaya Abaribe that it is time to hold him accountable. His name is on the list that the US senators, the US lawmakers are going to sanction. Tell him. Tell Peter Obi that his name is on the list. Tell Igbazu that his name is on the list. Tell Peter Mba that his name is on the list. Tell Soludo that his name is on the list. Tell Senator Osita Isunaso, the one that stood in the National Assembly and said, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Senate President, the Senate is worried, Nigeria is worried, that if the activities of Biafra, the activities of Simon Ekpa is not cut short, that they are afraid that the entire Nigerian people will be caught in the web to come to the understanding of the reality. Tell all of them that their names are already on the accountability list of US lawmakers. We are very happy of this accountability list of the US lawmakers. We thank our APM. We thank Mazi Elias. We thank Attorney Dabiri. Yes. The testimony that was submitted to the US Congress, some of you took it for a joke. You did not know the importance of it. But today, everything is yielding fruit. Gradually, 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 gradually. Tell all the governors that partook in the massacre of Biafrans. Tell Wikeo, his name is there. Tell Igbazu, his name is there. Tell Willie is in Texas. Very soon, Willie will be deported from Texas down to Abuja. Let him come and stay in Abuja to go and face the terrorists that he supported and created. So none of you will escape the wrath of this Accountability Act. Yes, because every other administration that has existed, they have just turned their blind eyes on the massacre and the genocide of the Christian people and Biafran people. The time has come where Biafran people have taken this to the US lawmakers table and calls on them and say, you must act and you must do something. Many of you sit down and you don't know how these publications came about. You don't know. You thought that the US senators, that they just sat down, they woke up, and then they decided to start doing something about one Nigeria. No, they did not just sit down and then stand up and start doing something about one Nigeria. No, no. Biafran people did. The diplomatic engagement gave birth to what you are seeing that is happening to the Nigerian people now. The day you all entered this US congressional building to sit down and talk and create awareness, it was the unlocking key. It was the key to open the door. While every other thing were done and were aligned, you had to go to the US Congress to open the door, the key, to go and put the key. Put the key. You had to go there. You had to go there to put the key and then open the door. Yes, you did the open door on the 18th of September, 2025. And after the open door ceremony and hearing that you did in the US Congress, you have seen that every good thing that pertains to humanity is beginning to come out. The media in US is taking the news. The lawmakers are taking the news. Even those that were not interested in the news, because of the fact that you broke the camel's back to enter US Congressional Building, the capital of Washington, D.C. You sat down there and you spoke about Biafra for over an hour. That was the opening key. You opened the door. Yes. That is why all the US lawmakers today have the boldness, and all the media houses in America now have the boldness to publish and to write about the massacre of Christians. Yes. Nnamdi Kanu is and was. Nnamdi Kanu is and was a victim of what everybody are crying out today. Nnamdi Kanu is a victim of jihad. Yes, he's a victim because he opened his mouth to educate everybody about the massacre of Christians in Nigeria. Dr. Mailafia that did same, he was eliminated. Nnamdi Kanu came to do same. They decided to kidnap him, cage him, and lock him up. Charlie Kirk in America that also came out to open his mouth and talk about it. They shot him on the neck. So Nnamdi Kanu is a victim of jihad because he stood up to speak against the template that has been launched against all of you, which you all don't even know.
Every one of us must rise up. The armed forces are not neutral. They collude. They collude. They collude with the armed bandits. They kill people, kill Nigerians. They facilitate their movements. They cover them. If you are depending on the armed forces to stop the killings, you will all die one by one. Every one of us must rise up. The armed forces are not neutral. They collude. They collude. They collude with the armed bandits. They kill people, kill Nigerians. They facilitate their movements. They cover them. If you are depending on the armed forces to stop the killings, you will all die one by one.
Nobody is ready to die, and nobody wants to die. But Nnamdi Kanu was ready to die, and he put his life for all of you. So let's come back so that we finish reading this and go to what we actually came here for. So APM Nkere has announced, APM Nkere has engaged with Senator Ted Cruz and his office over the past year. And he is glad to have been involved in educating the senator and his office of Nigeria's persecution of Biafran Christians. The senator's legislation reflects BRGIA's call for more aggression, legislation holding Nigeria accountable. We want it to be very strict, that all of them The same way that Ige Kweremaru was held down, we want it to be very strict, that all of them that are accomplices, they will go nowhere. Yes. Wike, you killed Inobibo. Good luck, Jonathan. Many people died under your supervision, and you did not do anything about it. Obasanjo, what happened in Ode massacre? Is there any president and governor that is in Nigeria that they have not used Biafrans to do sacrifice? You know what is happening now? My happiness is that at this very time, Biafran people already laid the foundation and laid the cry and the prayer out, but nobody took us serious. Then we went back to form a defense mechanism to defend Biafra land so that our babies, women, and children, they will not be running away from their slave. They will not be running out of their lands to go to Cameroon to go and seek refuge. When you have your land filled with milk and honey, that is why we have Biafra Defense Forces. While all of you were calling our Biafra Defense Forces criminals and kidnappers and terrorists, what is happening today? Today, you are running away from your lands in Kwara, Borno, Katsina, Kano, Kaduna, Plateau. You are running away from your whole lands and you are running to go to Cameroon. Between Cameroon and Nigeria, where should somebody be running to if everything were okay? Where do you have everything? Where are you supposed to be more comfortable? But the reverse has been the case, because since Yoruba media, the corrupt media, decided to work for the terrorists and to do propaganda, blackmail, and slander against the Biafran people for years, it is time for reckoning. All of you will hear me. The terrorists have not started yet. You will all enjoy it from the beginning to the end. While Biafran people are laughing now, you will all be gnashing your teeth, because we have been the bad guys since, right? But we have been doing the dirty job for all of you. Biafran people have been doing the dirty job by taking care and taking out the terrorists for Christians to live in Nigeria for many years now. Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped because of speaking up, because of doing the dirty job for all of you Christians in Nigeria, so that you can live. But when Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped through the connivances and the accomplishment of Igbo politicians aligning with the terrorists in Abuja, you all clap. You all clap for the kidnap. They brought him to Nigeria. They televised the announcement of his kidnapping, and all of you in Nigeria were clapping. Yes, you clap. And they did not even give you the broadcast on English. No, they gave you the broadcast on what? Their own local language in the north. They were only addressing the northern people in Nigeria. They were informing the northern people that they have actually captured the Easterner, the Biafran person that is looking for Biafra, the Biafran prisoner that is exposing their terrorist invasion and their act. That is what they did. So they kidnapped him, and they came in public announcement. They made public announcement, and then they say, we have kidnapped him. Oh, this is that man that is trying to expose our plan of destroying Christians. This is that man that is trying to expose our plan of taking over the entirety of Nigeria and killing all of you. So they address all of you in Fude Fude. They did not address any of you in English that you will understand. And all of you were clapping. Yes, 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 yes. Nigerian government is working. Today, what is happening to you? In a never seen way. Boko Haram will deal with many of you that were clapping for the kidnapping of Nnamdi Kanu. So you must recall that BRGIE, the acting Prime Minister Nkere, had submitted first ever U.S. congressional testimony on the Biafran issue in modern history, exposing the massacre of Christians in Biafra and Nigeria entirely. This congressional testimony called for sanctions on Nigeria for kidnapping Nnamdi Kanu in Kenya, killing Christians, killing Biafrans, and forceful disappearances because of Biafra independence. While the government of Nigeria aids and abates the terrorists, BRGI also called for sanctions on Finland for transnational repressions on PM Ekpa Simon Njoku. The testimony is officially a part of the congressional record and is publicly available for viewing on the congressional website. Now, in a post on his official X, formerly Twitter handle, Cruz unveiled that government officials in Nigeria are not only ignoring, but in the same case, facilitating the violence. Officials in Nigeria are ignoring and even facilitating the mass murder of Christians by Islamist jihadist terrorists, the Texas lawmaker wrote. And when you click all these links here, these are reference links. It will take you down there. And this is what the full bill that Senator Ted Cruz has proposed to the US government. So if you click here, it will open and takes you to go and read everything. So do well to visit our Biafran government in exile website so that you can read this news. Then, in encapsulating this, a new report also paints a grim picture of the scale of the crisis, stating that Nigeria has effectively become the headquarters and safe haven for 22 terrorist groups. According to the report, an average of 35 Christians are massacred daily across the country. You read more evidences here. This one is a Bubagu terrorist that is being funded by Nigerian government to kill Biafrans. This one is the inter-society massacre in Eastern region, Nigeria. This one is the one that Bill Mayer calls on why Christians are massacred and nobody's talking about it. This is a report by Newsweek. This is a report by Fox News. This is another report by Fox News where Pope Leo also lamented about the massacre of Christians. This other one, still another news that came out of massacre of Christians. The Genocide Watch also posted massacre of Christians. Fox News again also posted. Christian Daily also posted the massacre in Plateau. Fox News also posted again. Sky News also posted the beheading of Christian pastors, the Khan officials in Kaduna. This one is another video where Sky News is enumerating the massacre. So, Senator Cruz is a Republican and has frequently raised concerns about international religious freedom and has called for the US government to take a tougher stance on countries accused of persecution. So, BRGIE leading the front, listen, BRGIE leading the front, BRGIE leading the front. Human rights groups, including Amnesty International, have similarly accused Nigerian authorities of failing to act decisively against extremist violence in the Zoological Republic of Animal Kingdom. So when you visit the BRGI website, you will read this publication. Just come over to the news section and then you read and you see this. These and many more are what the BRGIA are putting up. And if you saw this news coming out and making rounds in the media, you don't know the people that are behind it. We are making it clear for you to understand today now that it is your work as a Biafran who is supporting BRGIA every day, who is supporting the APM, who is supporting the lobbies, who is supporting the attorney, Amendabiri. It is your work, it is your contributions, it is your effort that has made this to come to be. So give glory to yourself and sing praises to yourself, because this is what you worked for and this is what you have made to happen. Without you, this will not happen. So don't allow anybody to come and take your glory because you work for it.
Biafra is only asked for. Every night and day he's shouting and pointing to one direction. But his own people are blind and saying it's causing division. Tell me why someone who sacrificed his life for you and I. Tell me why out of sight has become out of our mind. He's asking for nothing and cares about not for these people emancipation. No, but there is a breaking news to those who never knew. Permit me to give you a clue. In the morning sun will rise. There is a breaking news to those who never knew. Permit me to give you a clue. The morning sun will rise. He lost daddy and mommy and he live for nothing, doesn't care about nothing and abandon his family. No. Take your time and think what he's going through. He doesn't want to give up but to protect you. Even when they throw him African choo-choo. Oh no, Free Nnamdi Kanu now. Let me hear you sing. Free Nnamdi Kanu now. Free Nnamdi Kanu. Free Nnamdi Kanu now. Nnamdi Kanu now. Why you hate him because of envy. We love him, he's one and only. We follow him because he's ready.
You hate Okenkere because of envy. You hate Okenkere because your brain know they work well. You hate Okenkere because of hatred, backstabbing, and you're evil. You hate Okenkere for no just reason. Because if you're asked, why do you hate him? You cannot even tell anything. But look at what is on the screen. Is it not a shame to some of you that the person that you hate is the one that is giving you results? So looking at the publication on the screen, you hate Nkere because of envy. You hate Nkere because of your stupidity. You hate Nkere because you are a fool. Yes. Because if you are not a fool, you will not hate Nnamdi Kanu. You will not hate Simon Ekpa. You will not come and hate Nkere. That means you are a big fool.
Every one of us must rise up. The armed forces are not neutral. They collude. They collude. They collude with the armed bandits. They kill people, kill Nigerians. They facilitate their movements. They cover them. If you are depending on the armed forces to stop the killings, you will all die one by one.
What is different from what T.Y. Danjuma is telling you now, compared to what Nnamdi Kanu told you. Nnamdi Kanu told you, and then you called him names. Then you say, oh, it's IPOB, because it's IPOB that is talking. You all connive to kidnap him in Kenya and then lock him up. Today, it is the same thing that you hear T.Y. Danjuma talking about. And today, you are running away from your communities in the North and the Middle Belt. The Biafra army that you all were calling criminals and terrorists have now become heroes in Nigeria. Biafra army have made Biafra land to be secured. The terrorists that have ravaged and are taking over Borno, Zamfara, Kwara, they dare not enter Biafra land now. The people that are coming to Biafra land had the Nigerian terrorists in uniforms. And as they come, they are collecting woto. Promax. Since we send off the terrorists, the governors that we ministers say, oh, why do we have to send off the Boko Haram terrorists? That their aim and objective was to come and outnumber us and take our lands over. We refuse. They now decided to displace them . And then bring those they wear uniforms. So to every uniform personnel that you see, Boko Haram is there, Fulani terrorist is there, and Ansari terrorist group is there. How many terrorist groups did Fox News tell you? They have done investigation and they discovered that there are 22 terrorist groups that exist there. So all these terrorist groups, they are coming for all of you. But Biafran people are laughing at you now. Okay. We want to go into something else now, because we are trying to connect the dots and trying to explain something. And we are telling those people that paved way for the kidnapping of Onyendu and for the detention of our PM, that they don't enter one big soup. Honestly, they don't enter one big soup. Yes. They don't enter one big soup. And we are going to explain something here tonight. Now, let us go back to 2027. Let us go and ask ourselves some questions. Yes. 2027, 2017, 2007. Let us go there. Let us start from here. so that before you start looking for those in the north that did what and did what, you will remember where the problem started. Okay? Let's go here. That is why all the names and the faces of these idiots that you see here, all of them, all the faces of these idiots you see on the screen, all of them, the US lawmakers, they have enlisted them all. US lawmakers have enlisted them all. All these idiots that you see here on the screen, all these criminals you see here, the US lawmakers have enlisted them all on that list of accountability. They are all going to face sanctions. So you in Biafra land, if you want to see Nnamdi Kanu tomorrow, hold all these people that you see here, both past and present, both past and present, hold them all accountable if you want to see Nnamdi Kanu. So let us visit and revisit 2017. This is 2017, September 2017. September 2017. Now, let us see what is here. They say, this file photo shows Enugu State Governor Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi, Imo State Governor Rochas Okorocha, Ebonyi State Governor, and the chairman of the Southeast Governors Forum, Dave Umahi, Anambra State Governor Willie Obiano, Abia State Governor Okezie Ikpeazu, after a recent meeting of the forum. This was 2017, September. I want you to remind yourself of where you are now. You are in 2025, October. The title of this program is Igbo Politicians Jail Nnamdi Kanu. For what? For jihad. While Boko Haram terrorists are being protected by the Fulani politicians and the governors. So what you see on the screen is that Southeast governors ban IPOB activities. You did not see where they say Fulani governors ban IPOB activities. Mbano. What did you see? It is Southeast governors ban IPOB activities. And when you, who claims to be a Southeast governor or politician and knows a little about us, you are the one that is placing bounty on our head. You're the one that is proscribing IPOB. Huh? What do you expect from the federal government of Nigeria? What do you now expect from the terrorists in Kaduna and Kanu? You are the rat that knows the route into our rooms, and you now show the route to those that do not know anything. It is a leeway for them to come in and kill our babies, women, and children. But what do you see happening today? Today, that we have taken the massacre of Christians to the US lawmakers and it is making the rounds everywhere, you can see that even the northern Fulani terrorist governors, they are coming to protect their Fulani terrorists and their integrity. They are coming to debunk the massacre that they are massacring people and slaughtering people on a daily basis. They are coming to debunk it and say that it is not about Christians, that they are not massacring Christians. Yet it is still happening every day.
Every one of us must rise up. The armed forces are not neutral. They collude. They collude. They collude with the armed bandits. They kill people, kill Nigerians. They facilitate their movements. They cover them. If you are depending on the armed forces to stop the killings, you will all die one by one. Every one of us must rise up. The armed forces are not neutral. They collude. They collude. They collude with the armed bandits. They kill people, kill Nigerians. They facilitate their movements. They cover them. If you are depending on the armed forces to stop the killings, you will all die one by one.
Sorry, and we are welcome back. So, people will say we be terrorists. Now the people we know us finish. That is why, as the US lawmakers are going to compile this list and launch the accountability, the first set of people on the list are going to be these our terrorist politicians that you see their faces here. You can see their faces very well, right? Okay. Let us go and read the news. The governors of the East have proscribed all the activities of the indigenous people of Biafra. They called on the leaders of IPOB and they say, we are terrorists. Are you getting the point? So, the governors of Southeast have proscribed all the activities of the indigenous people of Biafra. This is 2017. And they called on the leaders of IPOB and all other aggrieved groups to articulate their position on all national issues and submit to the Committee of Governors or an Igbo and the members of the National Council Assembly from the zone through the chairman of the Southeast Governors Forum. The governors of the 5 Southeast states, the governors from the 5 Southeast states took the decision during a 5-hour closed-door meeting at the government house in Enugu, which was attended by the Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu, President General of Ohaneze Ndị Igbo, John Nwodu, and the General Officer commanding 82 Division of the Nigerian Army, Lieutenant General Adamu Abubakar. Among the resolution, I want all of you to take note of this name. So, among the resolutions made during the meeting is an appeal to the president to withdraw the military in Southeast at the moment. Yet, you are already telling Nigerian military and Nigerian government that Biafrans are terrorists. And then you're saying, you're telling them to withdraw. No, it is a psychological pattern of saying something here. Although the governors reinforced their commitment to one united and indivisible Nigeria. Nasiam, the governors reinforced their commitment to one united and indivisible Nigeria. They want one Nigeria. So because they want one Nigeria, what did they do? They decided to proscribe IPOB. The IPOB, whereby you yourself that is proscribing IPOB, you are also IPOB. So because you want one united, indivisible Nigeria, the same Nigeria that has consumed many lives today, the same Nigeria that is cutting off wombs of pregnant women and removing the baby, the same Nigeria that is cutting heads of babies, women, and children on daily basis. That is the same Nigeria that the Fulefus that you call governors in Biafra land wants to be indivisible. They restated their call for the restructuring of Nigeria to achieve justice and fairness to every Nigerian. This is when? This is 2017. I am asking all of you today. Today we are in 2025. Where is the fairness? Where is the justice? Where is the equity that these idiots that all gathered here were looking for? Since 2017 to 2025, how many years is it? How many years has it been? And where are the equity? Where are the justice? Where are the fairness? Where are the peace? Where are the restructuring that has been restructured from 2017 to 2025 to give you a reassurance that Nigeria is where you can be? I am just asking a pertinent question. The question is very simple. If you give me proof, I will stop talking about Biafra. I'll stop talking about Biafra. So here are the idiots. Also, they assured all Nigerians, indigenous and non-indigenous, in the region of their safety, adding that they have been in touch with the northern governors, the Yeram, which assured them of the safety of Southeast indigenous living in the north. So, because of their interest in Nigerian politics, what they had to do is that the northern governors gave them the mandate that they must go and proscribe IPOB. That is why they came to proscribe IPOB. Because what was IPOB doing? IPOB were the one on the verge of exposing the terrorist invasion plan. As at 2017, 2013, 2012, IPOB were on this campaign of exposing and showing you and telling you about the planned terrorist invasion that is coming. So, what did the northern governors use the slaves that we have as governors to do in Biafra land? They use them and say, go and proscribe that IPOB, call them terrorists, bring their list on the paper for us so that we can kill them. That is how you saw that Nnamdi Kanu was almost killed in his house in 2017. Because of what? Because of these useless, idiotic elements that call themselves governors of the East. And this post specifically say the 5 Igbo governors, the 5 Southeast governors took this decision during a 5-hour closed-door meeting. Because of what? Their ambition of power, their ambition of remaining relevant in Nigerian politics. Just because of that, what did they do? They decided to go very far to make sure that Biafrans are all beheaded so that they can remain as governors, they can remain as senators, they can remain as ministers. Where is Ige Ekweremadu today is the question that I'm asking. I want all of us to come back. Let us come back to the names of the people that were mentioned here to have been part as key stakeholders in this very meeting. We heard that the Deputy Senate President, Ike Ekweremadu, was part of this meeting in the proscription of IPOB, proscribing Biafran people to be terrorists. We heard that the President General of Ohaneze Ndigbo, John Nwodu, was part and parcel of this very decision. We heard that the General Officer Commanding 82 Division of the Nigerian Army, Lieutenant General Adamu Abubakar, was here. Then all the useless governors, they follow. All because of what? They said they have had meeting with the Northern Governors Forum, and they mandated them that Biafran people, that Nnamdi Kanu, that IPOB are opening their plans of the takeover of Nigeria, of the massacre of Christians, of turning everybody into what they want to become. So they gave them a mandate. Go and proscribe the indigenous people of Biafra. Go and proscribe IPOB. Bring their names and their lists so that we can massacre them. After the proscription, it wasn't long. They did what? They invaded Nnamdi Kanu's house to kill him. It's only God that saved him and made us to see him again in Israel after a while. So, on the recent violence in the region and allegations against the military and IPOB, the governor said investigations were ongoing and appropriate action will be taken against anyone culpable. Another resolution at the meeting is that the governorship election, which has been fixed for November 18, should hold as scheduled. And this has brought us to another thing. All of you that are planning to hold elections in this November in Anambra, you will meet a brick wall. Biafran people declared independence. We conducted referendum, and then on that referendum, the result declared and gave Biafran people the power to declare their independence. So if you are planning and thinking that you will still conduct legitimacy of Nigeria in Biafra land, you are making a very big mistake. Oh. We are sounding it now that there is no election of one Nigeria in Biafra land. Take it down to Kafanchan, take it to Abuja, go there and do Nigeria there. Biafran people have declared their stance of independence. Call your friends and family and start informing them now. Before on that day now, you will start jumping from window. You say you went to cast votes, then you saw problem and then you are jumping up and down. Stay in your house, oh. Don't go and partake in any election, oh. Because Biafran people will revolt. Biafran people will revolt, and it is going to be brutal because Biafran people have declared Biafra independence and they don't want to see anything Nigeria election in Biafra land again. Inform your friends and family and let them be aware now going forward. Accordingly, we appeal to President Muhammadu Buhari, in chief of Nigeria, to please withdraw military from Southeast. When you see them say withdraw, please, it is a way of actually telling the man, bring in more military, bring in more terrorists, because this is when you heard of Operation Python Dance. So they brought, after this very meeting that you see them talking like this, they come out to make this proclamation. But what they actually planned inside there was to go and unleash Operation Python Dance to come and kill Biafrans and to massacre Biafrans. That is what they did. And they did it very well. So after now, Buhari unleashed Operation Python Dance on the mandate of these criminal politicians that you see here. And they came to massacre Biafrans. The defense headquarters had earlier on Friday declared IPOB a terrorist organization. Which people were behind it? The Igbo politicians that you see here. In a statement by Director, Defense Information, Major General John Enenche, another idiot who calls himself Igbo man, who calls himself a Biafran, working to kill his own people because of one Nigeria. The defense headquarters listed reasons for the declaration to include the formation of a Biafra Secret Service, claim formation of Biafra National Guard, and unauthorized blocking of public access roads. Others are extortion of money from innocent civilians at illegal roadblocks and militant positions, use of weapons, stone, cocktails, Molotov, machete and broken bottles, and others on military patrol on September 10, 2017. This is the same thing that the governors of today are using against you. They do this propaganda campaign. They pay everybody they have to pay in the media. They come and write in the media and tell you that Biafra people, that Biafra army, that Biafra Defense Force, that they are doing what? That they are doing roadblocks. Who are those doing roadblocks? Is it not Nigerian terrorist government that are doing roadblocks and collecting money from people? Who are those extorting people money? Is it not Nigerian terrorist government? Who are those kidnapping people and killing people? This is the same thing that they did in 2017 to blackmail Biafran people, to blackmail IPOB. And today they are on it again. Today they tell you that our generals that are fighting to defend Biafrans, that they are kidnappers, they are terrorists, they are this, they are that. They print their photos, they circulate their photos on the media. They tell some of you that if you see them and then draw the attention to one Nigerian terrorist government, that they will pay you 5 million, they will pay you 10 million, they will pay you 20 million. And some of you are happy that you will go and report your savior, which is the Biafra army, to Nigerian terrorist government, so that you collect 5 million, so that you collect 10 million, so that you collect 20 million and collect 2 million. That 2 million will kill you there immediately you go. Immediately you go to go and meet the terrorists in uniforms and tell them anything about Biafra army or Biafran people or Biafra Defense Forces or anybody that you say is IPOB. From that very moment, thunder will strike you from that very moment, and you will die that very time. The thunder from Biafra land will strike you instanta. You will lose your hand, lose your leg, and become crippled immediately at that very spot. Yes. So when you see this smear campaign, this is the smear campaign that have been done against Biafran people all the way from 2017. Who sponsored it? It is the Igbo terrorist governors that sponsored this smear campaign against the Biafran people. They sponsored this thing against the Biafra independence. Why? Because of their love for Fulani terrorists and their plan of jihad, so that they can make them relevant. So that they can make them relevant and for them to sit down and answer in big Nigeria. But the question they should be asking themselves is that, where is Ike Ekweremadu today? Where is Ifeanyi Uba today? Where is Obiozo today? Where is Okwadike today? These are the questions they should be asking themselves. These are people that said Biafra will not come over their dead body, and they had to buy so that Biafra will come, because Biafra has come. Yes, it is left in your own hands and my own hands to actualize Biafra, to restore the Biafra fully, to support every means available for us to make Biafra a fruition. That is why all of you that are seated on the fence, you better come down from your fence, because the right time you did what you're supposed to have done. Come and do what you have to do so that we move forward with speed and get what we want. So IPOB has, however, denied the allegations, insisting that it is a non-violent organization. It is very, very laughable that the declaration is coming from a military intelligence officer. One, IPOB is non-violent movement. Emmanuel Kanu, the youngest brother of IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, who spoke on behalf of the group, told Channel Television in a phone interview, "We do not carry arms. We've never asked anyone to kill for us. Neither have we killed anyone. If you look at our records is clean." This was 2017. After reading all these things, I want all of you to hear from the idiots themselves. I want you to hear them speak. I want you to hear them speak. So if you want to record, you can record this place, and then can take it out. Listen to them speak now.
The governors of the Southeast have banned all activities of IPOB, calling on its leadership and all aggrieved groups to articulate their position on all national issues and submit to the Committee of Governors, Ohanaeze Ndigbo, and members of the National Assembly from the zone through the chairman of the Southeast Governors Forum. The leaders met today at Government House in Enugu following the recent clash between IPOB members and the military in Abia State, which led to the death of some civilians. After the 5-hour closed-door meeting attended by the governors of the 5 Southeast states, with Imo State's governor represented by his deputy, Prince Eze Madumere, the Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu, leader of the Ohanaeze Ndigbo, Nniawodo, General Officer commanding 82 Division of the Nigerian Army, Lieutenant General Adamu Abubakar. The forum came up with 11 resolutions. Amongst the resolutions are an appeal to the president to withdraw the military in the Southeast region at the moment.
In view of the prevailing security situation in the Southeast and its attendant consequences, the Southeast governors hereby resolve as follows. 1. All activities of IPOB are hereby proscribed. IPOB and all other aggrieved groups are advised to articulate their position on all national issues and submit to the Committee of Governors of Southeast, Ohanaeze Ndigbo, and National Assembly member from Southeast Zone, through the Chairman of Southeast Governors Forum. 2. All governors of Southeast Zone are to ensure compliance in their respective states. 3. The Southeast Governors Forum, Ohanaeze Ndigbo, and National Assembly members do hereby reinforce their commitment to a united and indivisible Nigeria. 4. We also reinforce our desire for the restructuring of Nigeria, where all national issues will be discussed and amicably settled to achieve justice and fairness to every Nigerian. 5. We reiterate our earlier position that the November 18, 2017 gubernatorial election in Anambra State must hold. 6. Accordingly, we appeal to our President, our Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, to please withdraw the military in the Southeast Zone while police perform their traditional role of maintaining law and order.
Did you hear the pronouncement? Hey. Oh, Diego, it's interesting, right? It's interesting that you did not see a Fulani man wake up to proscribe Fulani. Interesting, you did not see Hausa man wake up to proscribe Hausa. Interesting, you did not see a Yoruba man wake up to proscribe the Oduduwa group who are talking for independence. The only people you saw are the 5 Southeast governors, as they so claim to be their names. They are the people that came out to say, we proscribe IPOB and the activities of IPOB. Why? Because of Biafra independence. And then they called on federal government to send in more terrorists in uniforms to come and do Operation Python dance in Biafra land. And they all came and killed and maimed Biafran people. If you want to be alive, if you want to see Nnamdi Kanu tomorrow, you have to go after all these governors that you see here.
All governors.
You have to go after all these people that you see here. These are your problems. These are the people that sold you all to the terrorists in Abuja. These are the people that kidnapped Nnamdi Kanu and hand over to the federal government of Nigeria. These are the people that connive with the DOS and members of the IPOB that Nnamdi Kanu was spearheading. And they made the arrangement of Nnamdi Kanu's kidnap. These are the people. They attempted to kill him in his house. They attempted to kill him in his house in Afaruku, and it did not work. So they resorted into coming back again in 2021 to finish it. But God saved his life, and he's still alive today. But they did not achieve all this alone. It was these people you see here, both present and past politicians of the Igbo extraction, that you see them, that are responsible for the jailing of Nnamdi Kanu in detention. This was 2017. I am laying a precedence so that you will understand something. This is 2017, right? These are the people that led the massacre of Nnamdi Kanu in his house. Everything happened under their watch. They planned it. Now, after in 2017 that they have tried to kill Nnamdi Kanu and they did not get him killed, they ended up killing more than 28 people in his house, and God whisked him out of Nigeria. Let us now come to, this was 2017. Oh, let us now come to 2021. Now we are in 2021. What do you see on the screen? We are in 2021 now. You see, when they say the rat wait there for house, now you go pave way, carry the one way there outside, come inside, come show him the nooks and crannies. You saw that the last one I just showed you was 2017. The Southeast governor started the proscription of IPOB. They went to Nnamdi Kanu's house to kill him. God saved his life. He disappeared in Nigeria and then later reappeared in Israel and later came back to continue what he started. Because there was nobody that was credible enough to continue what he started while he was disappeared. In 2021 now, 75 northern groups, they placed bounty of 100 million naira on Nnamdi Kanu's head. And this money was too small. 100 million naira is what you place as bounty on the head of Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the Biafran people, the only prophet that sees and tells you what he has to tell you without any iota of fear or provocation of any kind that may deter him. No. Ezio Kubundo, he tells you the truth the way he has to tell you. And he will continue to tell you even if you have a gun pointed on his head. I want to ask all of you, Nnamdi Kanu has been on the Biafran circle since 2012. He was kidnapped and detained in 2015. They went to kill him in his house in 2017. and then God saved him. He still came back alive. He did not deny or change the goalpost of Biafra since that time. And when he came back again, he did not also deny or change the goalpost. He still continued on Biafra. He was kidnapped in June 2021 by the work of these Igbo politicians that I just showed you here. They wanted to kill him, but God saved his life. And then, with over 10 days of the massacre and beatings that were done on him in Kenya, till he later was weeks chained and blindfolded down to Nigeria. Up till today, with everything that he's going through, he has not changed the goalpost on Biafra. He has not changed his mind. He's still going forward ever and backward never. When you saw him in court, he was telling you that he has been in detention for over 4 years. That it is not 1 year or 2 years that will make him change his mind on Biafra. What message did you get there? He was giving you assurance. He was bolstering your strength. He was telling you, go ahead, continue to give woto to one Nigeria. So in 2021, since you laid the foundation for the northern terrorists in 2017 by proscribing Nnamdi Kanu and proscribing Biafrans, then in 2021, the northern leaders decided to take the lead because you already have given them the way in 2017. So this time, northern leaders came out and launched their own campaign and said they placed 100 million naira bounty on Nnamdi Kanu's head. Let us read why he said they placed. They say a coalition of 75 northern groups under the aegis of the Northern Conscientious Forum has placed 100 million naira for anybody who could produce the leader of indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, for him to continue his trial over alleged treason. And the Yeram, that after they saw that the invasion of Nnamdi Kanu's house in 2017, that they did not kill him, which was the mandate that they gave to the Igbo governors who came out on that same September 2017 to say that they proscribed Biafra. So after they went to kill him in his house, they did not succeed. God whisked him away. Now, the northern terrorist groups are telling you that because they did not succeed in killing him, because they did not succeed in killing him in 2017, they are putting bounty on his head that if you can produce him so that he will come and stand trial, because they did not succeed in killing him in 2017. Because he spoke about Biafra. Because he brought about Biafra. Are you getting the message? Who paved the way? Who paved the way? The question is, who paved the way? Who paved the way for the northern governors to go to kill Nnamdi Kanu? It was the Igbo politicians in 2017. So as they failed in killing him, and he later resurfaced again, so in 2021, they now came out to launch another smear campaign. And this time they launched it openly. They did not give it to them, the Igbo politicians, to launch it now. This time they came to launch it themselves. And when they launched this campaign, did you see the Igbo governors and the politicians come out to attack the terrorists in the north and say, why will you launch a campaign to kill Nnamdi Kanu? No, they did not say. Because they knew the game they were playing. They aligned with the northern terrorist groups to make this pronouncement, and they stood behind the scene to say it. Are you getting the point? So they now went ahead. All of you should remember that we launched Eastern Security Network in 2020. So now, listen, go ahead. They say the Northern Consensus Movement specifically accused Kanu and IPOB militant wing, Eastern Security Network, of masterminding the recent spate of attacks on northern communities in Southeast. Now, you now see that their problem were the Eastern Security Network that was formed to go after the terrorists that were raping our women and children and cutting off heads of babies. Are you getting the point? So, when you now see today that ESN metamorphosed into Biafra Army, and then you don't see the governors and the ministers and the senators talking about the Fulani terrorists. All they do is that they unleash everything in uniform to go after the Biafra army. You now understand the point. They are going after Biafra army because Biafra army is curtailing the excesses and the menace of the terrorists that are coming to kill our women and children. There was MOU that was signed by these governors of the East. Let me just say southern governors, that they must do everything to please the terrorists from the north. Are you getting the point? Yes. So that is why you see that even as your babies are crying, they don't bloody care. They want the terrorists from the north to take over Biafra land. Can you see that Peter Obi is going to condemn the invasion of Boko Haram terrorists in Kwara State? Is going to condemn the invasion of Boko Haram terrorists in Borno State. Is going to condemn the takeover of military barracks, the handing over by proxy. That is called the handing over of military barracks by Nigerian army to the terrorist Boko Haram. They hand over the armament. All the armament that America sell to Nigeria and sell to all countries, or they bought from all other countries, they are handing them over unofficially to Boko Haram terrorists so that they can use to launch the next phase of the attack on Christians. So you now understand why the terrorist governors we have, their only problem is to go after Biafra army today. Because we don't have ESN again today. ESN metamorphosed into Biafra army. Their work is to make sure they take away every terrorist that is trying to invade Biafra lands. So they said that this declaration came 1 week after the declaration by Igbo Elders Council that more than 5,000 Igbo youth have been killed and over 10,000 others thrown into detention camps in the ongoing special security operation in Southeast. Which people were thrown into the prison? It is Igbo youth. Which people were killed? It is Igbo youth. Are you getting the point? But which people now came to place bounty on Igbo Biafrans again, on Igbo youth again, on Nnamdi Kanu? Which people came to place bounty on our head? It is Northern terrorist group. It is Northern terrorist group. So are you understanding what is happening here? You kill people, Nigerian terrorists in uniform kill over 10,000 and threw over many into detention. And then, what is supposed to happen? Are you not supposed to be persuading the Nigerian terrorists to release the Biafran people that they have taken into custody and killed? But rather, what you are doing, you are placing bounty on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's head. So you're placing bounty on the same Biafran people that have been killed by your terrorists in uniform. You're placing bounty on the same Biafran people that have been massacred. So how do you juxtapose this? How do you vary what is happening now? The question that you need to think and then tell us. This is how our politicians of Biafran extract have been very useless to us. Yes. This is how our politicians have been very useless. They have been very useless to the point that what happened? They aid and abet the massacre of Biafran people. This is why I am telling all of you as Biafrans that your problem is not far-fetched. Before these 75 northern terrorist groups came to place bounty on a Biafran head, a Biafran leader, they said because they could not kill him in 2017, that when they went to his house, they did not get him to kill. So what should happen then? That you should collect 100 million naira and look for the head of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and bring for them, because they did not succeed in killing him in 2017. So when they gave this mandate, that is when you saw that IPOB, DOS, Igbo governors and politicians, and all those that are hungry and have been looking for opportunity to enrich themselves, they swung into action. Yes, they swung into action so that they can collect 100 million naira bounty on the head of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. They worked very hard to see that they kidnap Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and then bundle him and hand him over to Nigerian terrorist government. And it did not stop there. When they succeeded in kidnapping Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the Igbo politicians made sure that IPOB, in connection with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's lawyer, in connection with his brother Nnamdi Kanu, that they did not make the kidnapping of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu known since on the 18th of June 2021 to on the 28th of June 2021, when he was blindfolded and chained and weeks into the court. We got to get the news when Showore went to court. That was when Showore raised the alarm, when he saw that this is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu that is being chained, blindfolded, and weeks into this court. But what happened from the 18th of June 2021 to 28th of June 2021? What happened? What happened was that these Igbo governors, they made sure that after the kidnap, they made every arrangement by IPOB, DOS, and Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's lawyer, Ejiofor, and Nnamdi Kanu, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's brother, that they place somebody to use Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's Twitter's account. They placed somebody there to use Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's Twitter's account to continue to tweet. Yes, that's what they did. He placed somebody to use Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's Twitter account to continue to tweet and to be talking to Biafrans and deceiving Biafrans. That is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu that is still talking. I want all of you to watch. This is the 19th. This is the 18th of June 2021. On this very day, was the day they kidnapped Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. We were supposed to have meeting with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu on the 20th Yes. And it was also supposed to come live either on the 19th or 20th or 21. So when everybody did not see him, they calm everybody down. And then we continued seeing his post. And then it gave us hope. We say, oh, Nnamdi Kanu is okay. When he's ready, we'll speak. But Kanu, with Igbo governors, Igbo politicians, and DOS members, they continued to make somebody in IPOB DOS to use Nnamdi Kanu's Twitter account while he had been kidnapped and was beaten to stupor and he passed out. Somebody was using his Twitter account to tweet from on the 18th. From on the 18th, the person tweeted on the 19th, going. On the 19th, going. And everything tweeted was all about Buhari, 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 Buhari. Buhari became the only topic. Then on the 22nd, he now entered IPOB and ESN, IPOB and ESN, IPOB and ESN. Till on the 26th, still IPOB and ESN. 27, they continued when they said we have to be praying. 27th of our prayers from the book of Psalms, because Nnamdi Kanu had declared prayer. They continued to use it to brainwash us. On the 28th, they tweeted on that same day, 28th. They tweeted on that same day. Look at the time there. So they were now shocked when they sat down and saw that the agreement and the plan that they had with Nigerian government has been thwarted. They were shocked and disappointed. Why should Nigerian government bring Nnamdi Kanu to Nigeria after the agreement was to kill him in Kenya, while they will continue to use his Twitter account to tweet to Biafrans, deceive Biafrans, and buy time? They will be buying time, while they will kill him, dump the body somewhere. They will allow the body to decompose. After the body decomposes, before they will later come to make the announcement. And then they will say they don't know how he died. They found the body in a trash bin, while they continue to use his Twitter account to talk to all of you and to deceive you. This was a calculated plan. This was well orchestrated. By who? By Igbo governors and the DOS and those that all surrounded Nnamdi Kanu. This is why you all should know your problems and then